Hi, Vieira with the stockmarketlive.tv. Today I'm going to answer some of the questions that investors they have been asking for years. How is it possible to invest in the markets demonstrating 100% accuracy? In other words, how is it possible to predict stock prices and to mathematically prove it? We are going precisely to demonstrate in this lesson. If you stay until the end, give me about 10 minutes. And what we are going to do, utilizing examples of stocks discussed in the service, the facts are corroborated by every single client with access to this information. 30 years ago, I learned a very important lesson, that Wall Street does not exist to help investors. Wall Street exists for many other reasons, but certainly not to help investors. On the contrary, I found 30 years ago, in fact more, that Wall Street exists to deceive investors. Therefore, the concept of crowd, it is directly related to Wall Street machine. And if you wish to become a very successful investor in the markets, you have to learn about Wall Street games. That is imperative. I'm going to start here by referring to this tool that we use precisely to teach investors how to trade or invest in the markets. And you see here these several panels. This one green, Wall Street, and you have the crowd. The crowd is directly linked or related to Wall Street. On the other hand, my reference as a professional investor in the markets during my entire life, I never had a reference of an investor as a good investor to have as a reference. On the contrary, this many years ago, you have here reference in my life, people that I learned from. Obviously, all of them, unfortunately, not among us, but you have here names, and if you click here on these names, you can learn about them. Since this presentation it is interactive. So Albert Einstein, you have hundreds of articles at stockmarketlive.tv, autonomous trading, and our business is precisely in the field of artificial intelligence, autonomous trading. We have hundreds of articles demonstrating the value related to the teaching and the knowledge from these people. Albert Einstein, you have here Mark Twain, always followed, one of the most influential persons in my life. You have also here Nietzsche, and you have including case studies and lessons on how to invest in Netflix as a long-term investor, precisely related to Friedrich Nietzsche. And you also have here this image. This is one of the most important reference to me. And this image, you have one of his sentence, start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. And I always had in my life, in my career, this sentence as a major reference. I truly believed in since the very beginning, and obviously, as of today, I continue believing in this message, and we are going to demonstrate precisely the value of having these people as major reference in your life rather than Wall Street or stock gurus or others that the society tells you to have as reference. If you stay, obviously, until the end, you are going to understand about all this. So you have here some names. You have here Einstein, Mark Twain, Friedrich Nietzsche, John Nash, also very important articles, case studies, Perelman, the only person in the history of the mathematics who rejected Field's medal, and finally also Jim Morrison, not a scientist but a person that had profound influence when, well, 30 years ago, right? So I'm going to continue. Like I said, I would not like to invest too much time since there are lessons explaining in detail all this process. And I'm going to refer in this presentation to mathematical facts and things that we called in, and therefore predicting with 100% accuracy how to invest in a given company, and also extrapolating to all market sectors, and we proved it for the past 30 years. That is precisely the number of years that we have in the markets, shaping markets history. So we are going to start by here these articles. Cohen Research, an American firm. I could have here, as you are aware, for example, the case of JP Morgan, upgrades US Steel to outperform. These news that you have here, they were coincident in the United States, in popular websites at Street Insider or in Barron's. You have it here also, US Steel, a 50% gain. I could have here more, JP Morgan with $46 price target, and these price targets, they were announced precisely to the public ahead of a crash, the most important crash in the past 26 years in US Steel. We had a strong buy rating at the time that the news they came out, and we downgraded US Steel to strong sell precisely when these American firms, they were raising targets in US Steel. What happened later on, in just a very short period of time, I'm referring to 3 months, shares, they collapsed, the most important crash in the past 26 years in US Steel. But we are going to continue, and you have, by the way, this information available to the public on the web, on Vimeo, on YouTube, and 90% of the material that I'm going to refer to is material that is complementary. It was posted in real time ahead of the crash, as well as ahead of the bottom, informing when to then close the short positions, reversing to the long side, precisely when Wall Street was then downgrading US Steel. And we are going to see in the end the impact, the consequence in the portfolio of investors, and again, like I said, demonstrating that stock prices can be predicted with 100% accuracy. I'm not referring to 90% or 95%, I'm referring to 100%, okay? So when Wall Street tells you that stock prices cannot be predicted or forecast or whatever, well, they tell you for a simple reason, is that they need you, and as they need you, they have to sell you, they have to sell something to you. They need you to believe in an idea, all right? And this concept of beliefs and perceptions that Wall Street creates, therefore cultivated among the crowd, the very first step that you have to do in order to become a successful investor is to destroy all these common beliefs and perceptions that they are all of them wrong, including authors of books that they sell millions, but they have never proven anything to themselves as investors in the markets, and much less to those that they are professionals, since they do not make any money in the markets other than to sell books, which is precisely not the case with us. I repeat that Wall Street charges unbelievable fees to deceive investors. Investors, generally speaking, I'm referring to the crowd, believes in Wall Street in the end, and it is proven. I learned this with reports from the government of the United States more than 30 years ago that more than 90% or 85% of investors at that time, they lost money in the markets. And the end result, it is always the same. Therefore, Wall Street continuously needs what we call the concept of suckers to jump in and to step in and to substitute the losers, since the losers then they are gone. Okay, this is precisely the case what happened to US Steel. I repeat, US Steel, it is not an exception to the rule. It's just one example how Wall Street has been behaving for the past 3 decades. Never changed anything. So if you want to change or to step into a different world, you have here a wall defined by these 2 vertical lines, and you have to destroy the society, common beliefs and perceptions. I'm referring to understand or comprehend Wall Street game, but isolating your world from Wall Street. We call it artificial intelligence. We are pioneers in this field, and we are going then to move on and to explain this new world based precisely on facts, demonstrating the 1% accuracy that you are looking for. By relying in this perpetual positive energy, and I'm referring to mathematical principles, and you have here again reference as Einstein, and things that they are important to have as reference. The example, the key to get ahead is to get started, and this because most people are not willing to forget about everything that they have been taught about in the past or the society rules, and by not being willing to change, they will not ever be willing to achieve these results, and most obviously even to believe them, even if proven live, okay, on the tape as we do. And that is obviously not the case with our clients. And clients, I'm referring to small investors to large investors. And people that they have been with us, we have an installed basis where most 56% they've been with us for more than 10 years. I have with me people that they started more than 20 years ago, and I believe this is unique in the history of this industry. So you have here 2 again principles that they correspond, and we are going to demonstrate that they are real. You never have to say that you lost again, and this is precisely what happens to most people that they call in the office, small investors and even professionals, when they refer to these recommendations coming from Wall Street. You now can beat any pro using artificial intelligence, and we are going to refer also not only to facts and case studies, more than 7,000, as well as reviews and testimonials digitally signed, unlike others. Okay? Investing will shape the course of markets history. There is no other company or individual in the world doing this or proving it live on the tape. And if you don't know what the tape is, you have it on the web, since here I'm not going to explain it. So when people they tell you that you cannot or you should not trust artificial intelligence, they are once again deceiving you. And they are deceiving you because they need you to buy their ideas. What I'm referring here, it has been available 100% for free. We never charged about what you are seeing with regards to the investment process in US Steel. Continuing, you have here facts, 30 years track record, more than 7,000 case studies across all market sectors and every single financial instrument. excluding the case of bonds, since we don't have interest whatsoever in bonds. So our methodology, it has been proven to work in stocks, ETFs, index, futures, gold, forex, bitcoins, cryptocurrencies. We have case studies in every single instrument. Consistency, the most important property or the objective precisely of an investor. Results, credibility, and finally 100% accuracy. The only company proving it live on the tape, not with exceptions to the rule, on the contrary, proving it every single week. All right? So today we are going to refer here to this case where you have this public information, by the way. You have these articles, okay? I'm going to click, and these are resources or tools utilized by our customers, but also non-subscribers. You have access to this since they have been public, okay? So we are going to click here on this US Steel, downgraded to strong sell, and what you see here is precisely a chart, we call it a livestock chart, explaining the investment process in US Steel in the past 1 year and a half, more or less. We have been investing or explaining US Steel for many years, okay? So this stock was upgraded to strong buy at a price of $9, and this price of $9, which is rather interesting, it corresponds to the same price as an American firm, the same that I refer to as the name of Cohen Research, later on in 2017 upgraded US Steel to $60. The coincidence is that at $9 and precisely at single digits, this same American investment firm downgraded US Steel. And again, I could refer here to hundreds, if not thousands of stories similar to this process. As an example, you had the case of Goldman Sachs downgrading American Express at basically single digits in 2009, and then a few years later they upgraded American Express at $90 before the stock corrected to 52. And this is part of the history of the markets, and it repeats itself over and over. And so people, they continue to be deceiving by believing in these companies, that they continue doing the same year after year, where in fact those that they learned about Wall Street games, they beat market pros by doing precisely the opposite, comprehending what is behind Wall Street, because when Goldman Sachs or Cohen Research tells you that they are buying US Steel, probably what their customers are doing is precisely the opposite. But the question is always the same, and what did you do about it? All right? So we explained that, as you can see here in this chart, and also made available on the web, on YouTube, on Vimeo, we downgraded US Steel to strong sell. And this downgrade happened precisely on the day that Cohen Research upgraded or raised the targets to $60. The fact is that what did happen to the price in US Steel within, like I said, just 3 months or so, we are going to see here by clicking again in a chart which is public, downgrade to strong sell. You see here the chart is precisely the same, and within 3 months or so, 4 months, what did happen in this past, what did happen? A complete collapse. And this chart, not only it is real, we cannot change it. You can contact a company called tradingview.com to confirm it. This chart exhibits the price, and precisely and only at $18.60, we said we are closing the short position in US Steel. We didn't say ever to do it at $20 or 25 or 26. On the contrary, we posted several articles on the blog of the company, the most important in the world, urging investors to remain short, to double, to quadruple, to sell short US Steel, having in mind maximum return on investment. So the investment process in US Steel discussed on the long side and then on the short side, using artificial intelligence, autonomous trading. In other words, as an investor in the market, you don't have to do absolutely anything. The work, it was planned, everything it was planned in advance. The only thing that you had to do, obviously, for those that they don't have the model autonomous trading, you just have to use your fingers by receiving the information in real time. In other words, selling shares within the range $38 to $41 and a half, and then reversing to the short side, betting in the crash in US Steel, and then closing the short position within $20 to $18.60. As a small investor, you only closed at $18.60, precisely the very bottom, all right? If you need to see this on video, while the tape is running and so on, you also have it, all right? There are many people that they need it to see. So if you click here on video, this video that is also available on the web, you find precisely the video with the explanation and the same charts, and also referring to the articles on Wall Street when then US Steel got to a bottom, they were downgrading US Steel. So I'm going to, by the way, this obviously is public. The only thing that you have to do is to, having access to this presentation, to click here where it says source, and by doing so, your browser opens YouTube and you can play the video or Vimeo, all right? So this, that you see this video, what today do you have in US Steel, all right? When we posted an article to the blog of the company, to the public, since subscribers, they already had a long position in US Steel, the stock suddenly, within 24 hours, without earnings, without anything, the stock jumped, as you can see, 9%, all right? So as of today, and this again in 24 hours, we are going to see, you have here today US Steel at $27. As a subscriber, you already knew this was going to happen. So in the end, we proved that we can predict exactly the top in US Steel or any other stock. In this case, US Steel, since I'm referring to the investment process in US Steel. That was the case with $41 an hour. And then the very bottom, $18.60, which you have here several resources or tools as live charts, the video itself, including instructions, when to close the short position. Obviously, the crash, it was our main priority after profiting 500% return on investment on long side. So buying and investing when everyone else was downgrading at single digits in US Steel. I'm referring again to that chart that I used in the very first place. And the article that I'm referring to, responsible for the jump in 24 hours, unlike, for example, what you see then on the news, it is precisely this one at stockmarketlive.tv, because we know what was going to happen, all right? So the article, it was posted, I repeat, ahead of the move. US Steel jumped basically 10%, as you could see, to $27. But there are by far better stocks to invest or companies than US Steel. You have the articles ahead of earnings proving that we know or we knew what Netflix was going to announce, or Ferrari raising targets in both cases. So all this information, it is public, it is complementary. The only thing that you had to do, it was to visit the website, the blog of the company, and to read the information and to proceed, all right? And if you wanted to know about specific targets, well, In that case, probably you had to be a subscriber. But if you didn't want to lose money in the markets, unlike what they are telling you on CNBC, that Netflix, it has been expensive, it is externally expensive. Well, the fact, my friends, is that if you visit stockmarketlive.tv, autonomous trading, you notice that our customers, since we upgrade Netflix to strong buy, the percentage return on investment is more than 6,000%. So everyone else, they've been saying Netflix is expensive, but you have more than 100 articles dedicated to Netflix, precisely utilizing this reference and always going back to the primary, the most important, as the case here, Friedrich Nietzsche. So this reference, they constitute, not all of them here, we don't have, there is an extensive list, these are some examples, but our reference, since the very beginning, they are not certainly the same as the crowd that you have here, which has Wall Street as their main reference. And this constitutes, in the end, what is the consequence of direct result. Direct result is that the crowd loses money most of the time, while we demonstrate 1% accuracy. Okay? This new world that is today open to you, and I repeat, based on complementary information, you have it here, artificial intelligence, represented by a diamond. And instead of having here people, like they've been saying in public, that artificial intelligence, it is dangerous. They don't know what they are talking about, okay? And they don't know what they are talking about precisely for those reasons that I already referred to. Wall Street machine needs losers. Wall Street machine needs suckers. Wall Street needs you to lose money. Wall Street needs continuously a wave of new suckers and losers to continue producing results. Wall Street has a salary by the end of the month. We don't, all right? We depend entirely on the results obtained by investing in the market. So in the end, what does it mean for you? You have it here, also an interview with a small investor. I'm not referring to millionaires or multimillionaires or billionaires that we also have as customers. I'm referring to people with $20,000 in their accounts. And the proof or the result is precisely the one that you have here. Any small investor is outperforming Wall Street. Market pros using artificial intelligence explicitly as a subscriber to the service or implicitly in other programs or service which do not have direct access to artificial intelligence, but they receive information in the end about it. So 1% proven accuracy, no limits, no boundaries, no constraints based on facts. So when they tell you that it is impossible, we are going then back again, and I remind you that there is a very important here lines that they connect, influential lines we call it, all these different steps. We are going back to the very beginning, and I'm going to read again because this is rather important to have the right people as reference in your life since the very beginning. This is precisely the work that I had since my childhood. Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. So I hope that you learned something with this complimentary lesson on how to invest in the markets, and that you change your attitude for your own benefit. Not for us, but for your own benefit if you ever wish to do something different in your life. Not only in the markets, but this can be applied also to your life, to your career, even if you are not an investor. All right? Thank you. Bye-bye.